Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, you can see what today's video is all about because it's in my hand. On today's video, we're talking about the newest hype shoe in the Pegasus line. This is the Pegasus Premium. Let's get into it. Before we get started, I do just want to say that this video is in partnership with my friends over at Roadrunner Sports. Now, the Nike Pegasus Premium was sent to me for the purpose of review. However, no one at Roadrunner Sports has told me what to say. They don't have any editorial privileges, and all the thoughts and opinions are my own. With that said, you're going to be able to pick up a pair of the Nike Pegasus Premium from Roadrunner Sports for $210. And look, I know that price of $210 is going to be a sticking point for some of you, but I also think Nike priced it right. So maybe this is the first time you're seeing a video on the Nike Pegasus Premium. If it is, then I'm here to tell you that the Nike Pegasus Premium sits on the very top of the Pegasus trio. Of course, on the bottom of the ladder, we've got the traditional Pegasus 41, which is a classic, been around 41 years. Next up, we've got the Pegasus Plus, which I absolutely love. Now, finally, Nike puts the cherry on top with the Pegasus Premium. And this really is a premium running experience. It's a premium shoe. And I do have to say that it feels very premium because of its weight. Like, there's a lot going on here. Now, the Pegasus Premium does have 45 in the heel, 35 in the forefoot for a 10mm drop. That is absolutely typical in the Pegasus line. And Nike claims that in a US men's size 10, the Pegasus Premium will tip the scale at 11.5 ounces or 325 grams. However, in my size, a US men's size 13, the Peg Premium tips the scale at 14 ounces even or 396 grams. So I've got to say, I think this could be the heaviest running shoe in my size that I've ever actually run in. Now, before you just discount it because of the weight, I do want to tell you that it does feel a lot lighter than that number suggests when I'm actually running in it. And of course, with that 45mm stack in the heel, the Peg Premium is obviously in that max stack daily trainer category. Like, it's not built for speed, it's built for comfort, and it's built to look good. So clearly, if you are in the market for a max cushion daily trainer, it's probably not going to be a race day shoe. It's going to be that shoe that you go out and you run your long, easy miles in. Now, if you are considering picking up a pair of the Nike Pegasus Premium, you're probably also considering the Hoka Skyward X. Now look, I know there is a plate in the Skyward X, but it's the same type of shoe, the same type of ride. Now the Hoka Skyward X has 48 in the heel, 43 in the forefoot for a 5mm drop. It'll cost you $225, and in my size weighs in at 371 grams. So it's 25 grams less than the Nike Pegasus Premium, but it's also $15 more expensive. Next up, you're probably considering the Brooks Glycerin Max. Now the Glycerin Max has 45 in the heel, 39 in the forefoot for a 6mm drop. It'll cost $200, and in my size weighs in at 379 grams. So the Brooks Glycerin Max is 17 grams less than the Nike Pegasus Premium, and the price is only $10 less than the Peg Premium too. Next up, you may be considering staying within the Nike family. You could be considering the Nike Vomero 18. Now the Vomero 18 has 46 in the heel, 36 in the forefoot, also for a 10mm drop. In my size, it weighs in at 384 grams, so 12 grams less than the Peg Premium, but it will only cost you $150. And then finally, you may be looking at something like the Mizuno Wave Sky 8. Now the Wave Sky 8 has 41 in the heel, 33 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop. It'll only cost you $170, and in my size, tips the scale at 348 grams. So 48 grams less than the Peg Premium. So by showing you some of the competition, that is merely to show you that there is competition out there. However, I would argue that none of the competition that I showed you quite looks like the Pegasus Premium. And I don't know about you, but this full-length Air Zoom unit makes the shoe look pretty good, in my opinion. Now, before we get down to the midsole and everything that comprises the midsole, let's start at the top. And you can see this heel collar, it is nice and padded. You know, that's exactly what we would expect with a shoe like this. The heel counter is rigid, and we do have a kind of nice elf here to help grab onto that, pull that shoe onto your foot. I love that the tongue on the Pegasus Premium is not overly padded. It doesn't go the same way as some of these other max cushion daily trainers. I mean, it's plenty padded. You're not going to get any lace bite across the top of your foot, but I guess they had to save weight wherever they could. Now, the tongue on the Pegasus Premium is not gusseted, but we do have a big lace loop here on the front. I didn't have any issues with tongue migration. Now, I do just want to point out the styling of the tongue. You can see these holes right here on the top of the tongue, and this circular pattern that Nike has incorporated into the tongue of the Peg Premium is carried throughout the shoe. It really is very sharp looking with lots of little details. Now, for the upper on the Pegasus Premium, Nike is using a stretchy circular knit and breathable mesh upper. And the circular knit is obviously continued with the circles on the tongue. You can see it is extremely breathable here across the toe box. And I just want to draw your attention to this reflective band coming around the shoe. This lights up nicely at night whenever light hits it. Now, also, let me hold this up. I'm not sure how well you can see. I'm going to have to lace something over. But you see where the laces in the eyelet chain, how the laces are laced through the actual eyelets? Well, the laces are actually tied to an internal cage. And if you kind of look on the side, you can can see that cage and it's covered with round holes just to continue the styling. But when you cinch down the laces, it actually locks down your midfoot, so you get a really good midfoot lockdown. It's something that Nike has used on many of their other shoes, and it's nice to see it carried over and implemented very well on the Peg Premium. Just looking on the inside, it just looks really good. I mean, not that anyone cares what their shoe looks like on the inside, but it's still fun to see. And it's that level of detail that I think makes the Pegasus Premium a very premium feeling and looking shoe. Now, as far as overlays go, yeah, there's quite a lot going on here. We do have the circular knit upper on the top. We have this mesh coming around the bottom half of the upper. Obviously, we got the swoosh on the lateral side, air spelled out on the medial side. Got a little mirrored swoosh here on the back. Got a little tag right on the heel counter with Pegasus wings emblazoned on. And of course, we've got the reinforcements along the eyelet chain and then coming around the toe box. As I said, there's a lot going on in this shoe. The sock liner of the Pegasus Premium is removable, just in case you wanted to take it out, replace it with something custom. You certainly have the option. And the laces also have a premium feel to them. I find it difficult to really describe what it is that makes them premium, but they just feel really nice. And they didn't come untied, so that's a good thing. I mean, really, we do expect laces to do their job, and these laces did them. Just how Nike has implemented the laces on the Pegasus Premium, I think looks very smooth and kind of built in. I really don't mean to go over the top on how premium looking this shoe is, but I think it looks more premium than some of the other top of the line premium Max Daily trainers. And I think Nike probably did this on purpose, because obviously this is a running shoe, but it can also be used as a lifestyle shoe. I think we're going to see a lot of people wearing this like out on the street that perhaps don't run. But this is a running review of the Pegasus Premium, and to me this is going to be a running shoe, but I do think it looks good. So let's come down to the midsole. And just like the upper, there is a lot going on with the midsole. On the top, we have Zoom X, and that top layer of Zoom X is going to give a nice step-in feel. It's very soft, it's very responsive. It adds a tiny element of that Zoom X feel that we know and love. Next up, we have this full-length Air Zoom unit, which I think really is the signature of this shoe. You can see through it, and I love the orange. Obviously, it's Nike orange. Now, this full-length Air Zoom unit that you can see has not just been slapped in between two layers of foam. It's actually sculpted, and it's been sculpted in a way to carry a runner's power through their running gait. So think from heel to toe. And I want you to think of it like a carbon plate. Now, obviously, it's not a carbon plate, it's an Air Zoom unit. It's not going to have that same propulsive kind of energy return properties that a carbon plate does. But with that said, Pegasus Premium is the most responsive Pegasus ever made, right? You heard that right. Even compared to the Pegasus Plus with a full length of Zoom X, the Pegasus Premium has a higher energy return. And then right below the full length Air Zoom unit, we have React X, and that React X is just in the heel. When we come around to the forefoot, Nike has overlaid their outsole rubber right up against the Air Zoom unit, so that React X is just in the heel, and that's going to add just a little stability. It's a firmer, denser foam than the Zoom X, and we kind of need that to give support. If we come down to the outsole, you can see we do have a lot of outsole rubber, like full coverage across the top. Nike did well to cut out this little window so we can see the Air Zoom unit. Again, this is the signature of the shoe. We want to look at that from all angles. Now, there is an exposed piece of React X just here in the middle. Again, probably saving weight, but you can see Nike's actually added some little nodules to that. So it looks like it's outsole rubber, but it's just midsole. This is also one of the elements that I like that Nike has paid attention to. They've made their exposed rubber on the outside just look better by kind of blending it in with the tread. And then of course we got this rubber on the heel, which is actually pretty thick. The tread is pretty thick. Now, I'm not surprised to tell you that right here on my lateral heel edge, I am seeing just a little bit of wear. But saying that, I think the Pegasus Premium is going to last an average amount of miles, much like any Pegasus. And I tell you, I've run in Pegasus up to 600 miles in the past. I don't really do that anymore, but I have taken Pegasus a long way. So now let's talk about ride. And you know, I know there's going to be a lot of haters out there just because it's Nike and because of the weight of this shoe, but my friends, I've got to tell you that for a max cushion daily trainer, the Nike Pegasus Premium is actually a very pleasant ride. And with that sculpted full-length Air Zoom unit, like when you're thinking about it and you're running, you can actually feel how the Air Zoom unit is sculpted and it's kind of pushing you through your gait cycle, especially on the toe off. You know, if I hold that up, you can see it's kind of got that same scooped shape, so it's higher in the heel and then drops down to the forefoot. In my experience, when a shoe has a carbon plate that is shaped like this, it works very well for me. And again, just to repeat myself, the Pegasus Premium does run a lot lighter than the scale actually suggests. Now, with that said, after I have been running for over an hour, I think I've taken this shoe out for up to the half marathon distance, so probably like for me an hour and 50 minutes or so, the weight of the Pegasus Premium was becoming noticeable. And by that, I mean, as I got tired, I started noticing the weight a little more. Of course, when you first go out and you're fresh and you've got a new pair of shoes, you know, it just feels great. You won't notice the weight at all. But I did start to notice the weight as that time went on. So I know I said in the beginning that the Pegasus Premium is going to be good for those longer efforts, but I'm going to backpedal just a little bit it because I probably wouldn't be taking this out on my long runs, at least long runs if I'm training for a marathon. For me, the Pegasus Premium is going to get use as a normal daily running shoe. You know, and on my normal daily runs, I probably run for an hour, maybe just a little over an hour. And these are the days when I'm not focused on doing any work. So I'm not picking up the pace, I'm not doing intervals, I'm not doing a tempo run, but just those bread and butter miles, you know? I think the Pegasus Premium works extremely well for that. Now, there is definitely an argument to be made that if you are running in a lighter shoe, you're going to be using less energy. And yes, I agree with that. There's really no getting around it. Your feet are on the end of a lever, which is your leg, and the less weight that you have on the end of that lever, the easier your run's going to be. But Nike has made a pretty good product, and with the geometry and the sculpted air zoom unit, they've made a good-looking, fairly heavy shoe a pretty good running shoe. So now I want to hear from you. Are you a fan of the Pegasus? Have you run in any of the Pegasus? And are you thinking about picking up a pair of the Pegasus Premium? Drop a comment and let me know. But for now, it's Matt B. This has been my review of the Nike Pegasus Premium. Be kind, be happy, run well. See you in a couple of days.